Alright, got my LabVIEW hooked up to the iCharger, and this just finished charging it. I was discharging it earlier, but realized I did not have my cells hooked up, my individual balance lines hooked up, so I couldn't see the individual cell voltages. So I had to recharge it. Did not put in as much as I took out. I took out 1.5 amp hours and I put in about 580 amp hours. You can see that right there, 580. Yes. So over here, we're doing a discharge. We're going to be going back into a battery. Lithium polymer to 4.8 volts, 9 amp discharge, down to 3.3. Yes, regen, go. And then it reset the graph. And so now we'll start building the graph up. I have the individual cells maxed out at 4.5 and going down to 3 volts. The current is set between 0 and 10 volts. It's pulling 10 amps of current. The current line should be at right at 9 amps. Yeah, it's pulling 9 amps right now. This line right here is the cell voltages. So hopefully those all stay together all the way across. And then this line coming up here is the watt hours and the capacity. And you can see those are just chugging up over time. And then you can see the 16.8, that's the voltage of the overall battery. That is a red line. And so you can see the line, that red line went from the 26.2 mark down to the 25.9. That doesn't mean anything. That just comes over here. And that goes from about 16.4 to about 15.65, 15.7. And my power watt, I need to adjust that because that's set to 100 and it's shooting off the chart right now. Alright, we'll check back in a little bit once it is discharged for a while. This battery is a 36 amp hour battery. It is discharging at 9 amps, so it'll take about 4 hours to discharge. Okay, 3.69, 3.66. And like I said, so a second ago, we're up to 11,000, over 11.5 on the capacity. Our volts have come down to 3.66 or so. Our overall voltage is 14.5 volts, going down to 12 or so, or 13.2 actually. Okay, so it's finished the discharge. It got a total of 25,000, just over 25,000 milliamp hour. I was expecting somewhere around 36. So, but you can see that the cells they were off by a lot. So I'm going to balance them and then redo this test and see what happens. Alright, so I let my balancer, which was this guy, sit on the battery for 4 or 5 hours, and the battery seems a little more balanced now. If you look at the cells, they're much more on top of one another. I'm in the process of recharging it at 20 amps. We are 7 minutes into it, and we've put in 2,400 milliamp hours so far. So this should take, I'm doing 19 amps, so it should take a little bit less than 2 hours. So we have finished the fast charging portion. You can see the current was charging at 6 amps, and then it reduced. Our voltage was going up, and then it's constant voltage right there. If you look at the spread, it is very tight, so the cells are all very well balanced to each other. That's good. Nothing is consuming or not consuming energy fast, so everything has about the same capacity. We put in, what is that, above 260 watt hours of energy. We took out 380 earlier, so I'm thinking it was because this does not include the other charging that I was doing earlier that probably put in 50 or 100 watt hours. Okay, we're 36 minutes into this discharge. The individual cells look like they're sitting all on top of one another. That's nice. And also when I come over here, so we're at 5400, pulling 9 amps. The cells are all very balanced according to this. And it's pulling 9 amps. The current's up at the top. The dotted line that is increasing left to right is the battery that I'm putting the power back into. And currently at 86 watt hours or so. So we'll check back in a little while and see where we're at. Okay, we're 2 hours and 19 minutes in. We are at approximately 2100 amp hours. And that is right there. We're at 300 watt hours. That's good. Our voltages on our cells are still very balanced within 20 milliamps. So that's good. So this is looking like it's going to work. I think it's going to work. Our cell voltages, yeah, like I saw right there was at 3.5 volts. So a little bit less than halfway charged. And we're at 2100, so that's a little more than halfway through. So maybe we'll get to 33,000 milliamp hours. Alright, so now I'm done discharging. I got a total of 30,500 milliamps. And you can see right there at the end, what I did is I reduced the current draw from 9 amps, the green, from 9 amps to 4.5 amps, because I wanted to bring the voltage up a little bit more. And then you can see the cells are a little bit unbalanced. So I'm going to balance the cells now with the cell balancer, and then I will charge it back up and I will do another discharge. Alright, another update. I think this is discharge number 3. We're at 2700 milliamp hours right now. I just reduced the discharge from 9 amps to 4.5 amps. We're over 400 watt hours. What I need for this battery to do is 310 or so that's good. And looks like everything's okay. Looking at the battery, there's 27 amp hours, and then the cells are at 3.8, 3.5. So actually 3.8, 3.4. Sorry. So off by 40 thousandths. It's okay. Not great. So hopefully it'll get above 3,000 milliamp hours again, but we'll see. Okay, this is kind of interesting. That is a screenshot from discharge number 2, and this is actual live discharge number 3 on the right side of the screen. Unfortunately, I did switch going from 9 amps to 4 amps at a little bit different time. That was done a little bit after 3 hours and 3 minutes, and here I did it around 2 hours and 50 minutes or so. But the interesting thing is I'm looking at the difference between my cell voltages, and it looks like the cell voltages are much more tight on this run that I'm doing, run number 3 versus run number 2. So it looks like the balancing helped. So I should get more power now because my cells are more balanced. So we'll see. Okay, so we're done. We got just about 3,100 milliamp hours, and the right side is the one that we just finished. The left was discharge number 2. The balanced cells look a little more balanced, but the pack is a little bit out of capacity range. When I put the cells in, I just threw cells in it and checked to make sure they were all balanced equally, so the battery would have the same milliamp hour in each one. But yeah, it looks like one has a little bit more than the other. They are a little bit more balanced now. They're a little bit closer together. And we got up to 440 watt hours, so that's good. Need 310, so I'm happy. And so yeah, this battery's good to go.